Alright, what's going on YouTube? Another day, another Hidden Cup 4 qualifier. This time, Jordan will be playing against Cyclops. Cyclops is one of the more known Turkish players out there. He has been extremely active in Vubli back in the days, but I haven't seen him around for a while, so I have no idea how good he is or how much he is in shape. He used to be a decent player, but Jordan should have the upper hand in this scenario. So let's take a quick look at the map draft that they have had. Jordan picking Cross and Hideout and bans Gold Rush, and Erhan is the other name of Cyclops. He picks Slopes and Bay and bans Islands. With that, we're going to have Lithuanians, Japanese, Britons, Vikings, Teutons, Italians available for Jordan. Tatars, Persians, Huns, Khmer, Celts, Berbers are the civs for Cyclops. And the first civ selection for each player, Chinese and Mayans, were sniped by the opponent. Aztecs and Franks were the global bans. With that being said, it is, I believe, time to get into the first game over here. So we're going into Arabia. Welcome. This is going to be the first game, and we're gonna have Jordan on the left side playing in blue Vikings. Right side is going to be Tatars for Cyclops in green. Now, as I said, one of the main questions that I have when it comes to Cyclops is how active he has been in recent memory, because he has been a good player. I think he was the second best Turkish player. At some point, he may have even have been the best Turkish player. I know he has a history back in the days when I was a startup caster. I did cast him, I think, in Aspiring Experts tournament, which was like a tournament for up-and-coming players or like players that are not that's necessarily the top 16. So with a lot of talented but not professional players out there. And I remember Cyclops, and I think some people told me that he was like a very, very well-known Turkish player. So, yeah. I actually saw him on Woobly a lot of times, but I have no idea how good he is on Definitive Edition because, as I said, I haven't seen this name for at least a year now, but potentially even more. Other side, I don't think I have to introduce Jordan to anybody. He has stepped up his game in recent memory, though, as I'm saying that he might be missing out on his opponent's base here. Oh, that's so unlucky for Jordan. He's looking for his opponent, but he turned back just at the wrong moment, and now he thinks, okay, if my opponent is not here, then I'm just gonna go over here and search for him. So Jordan is having a tough time finding Cyclops over here in this one. So what I wanted to say is that Jordan, in the recent memory, he has been pretty decent, so we'll see what he can do in Hidden Cup to qualify. It's not going to be easy for him, but neither it is impossible. The first step for him is to get through Cyclops. My prediction for this one is probably a free one for Jordan, with one of Cyclops' home maps being won by Cyclops. Anyways, it kind of seems like Jordan has given up on actually trying to find his opponent over here. He was looking here, nothing here. He was looking around here, but he just missed his opponent by just a couple of tiles. And honestly, it's really tough. Like, what you're looking for is a bit of a clue, like potentially a secondary gold, a secondary or primary stone. Best is like the opponent's primary gold to find, but yeah, he wasn't actually able to find anything like that. I would think that he suspects his opponent to be here, but we'll see if that is the case or not. He's got quite a lot of scouting across the map, but he has no idea how his opponent's base looks like. So Tatars versus Vikings. Vikings is gonna have the much better eco over here. However, it is a matter of the mobility will be heavily on the side of Tatars, so we'll see if Cyclops is going to be able to exploit that. He's pushing in there from the front of his base, and now Jordan finds that scout. He can actually try denying the deer push over here, and I think that is something that he may be considering over here. Speaking of Cyclops' base, this is actually a nice wall that he's making. He would have a wood line at the back, a gold mine at the back. Easy wall-offs here. This one is a little bit harder to wall, especially the berries. So we'll see what Cyclops can do with that, but the left side should be very, very well defendable for him. Other side, Jordan's gold is borderline decent, I would say. It's not really great because it's on the front. But if you place your barracks and archer range in front, you should have no trouble with this gold. There's a nice backstone over here. And we have 4 wood lines for Jordan. There is no super safe wood line over here because you will be walling here, here, and most likely over here and here. So he doesn't have like a very, very safe wood line, but he does have 2 at the back. So that should be more or less okay for Jordan. That being said, there is still a boar here from Cyclops, who's sending a villager out over here. Does he know where his boar is at? Yes, he does. So this is just for woes. Now, this is actually dangerous for him. He doesn't have loom on that villager, and Jordan's scout is around, so Jordan could actually try getting a villager kill. And it looks like what Jordan wants to do is deny that boar, or at least delay it for the time being. And for that, Cyclops is pulling his scout to make sure that Jordan isn't able to do a block. But this already delays Cyclops quite heavily over here. Nice micro so far from Jordan. And now Jordan disengages, and Cyclops is gonna be able to bring in his boar unless the boar de-aggroes. So, yeah, that boar was delayed quite heavily, and that actually impacts the eco of Cyclops, because, yeah, he's got longer lasting sheep, which is nice. However, you gather slower from sheep than you do from hunt, so that is going to impact your eco. And you see that Cyclops is actually going for a 23 pop-up. I'm not even sure what that build order is trying to be. If that is scouts, that's like an awfully late scouts build. It could be archers, but that's actually pretty late archers as well. And it might be 22 villagers because he was missing on his second boar. I could see that happening. But this is definitely not going to be a man-at-arms play, so it's either straight archers or a very, very late scouts build. The interesting thing is that we're not seeing villagers added to the gold either, so it seems like it wants to be a scouts build. Jordan needs quite a lot of damage on his own scout over here. That was a little bit sloppy from him running into the TC fire. Now villagers going on gold for a moment, and then deciding to turn back to hunt, so I am somewhat puzzled on what Cyclops wants to do. 2 villagers now being sent to gold, so I think this is gonna be archers, but 23 pop archers is somewhat slow, and I didn't actually look at the food counter, so maybe Cyclops just wasn't able to click up because he had his second board delayed. I don't confirm that, and I can't even confirm it. However, the facts are facts. 23 pop for archers, especially nowadays, is just very, very late. Jordan is coming in here with men-at-arms, and you see that by the time Cyclops gets the first archer out, in fact, Jordan is already halfway up with that archer range. So, technically, Cyclops is going straight archers, and he's gonna have archers later than Jordan, and that is just not great, because Jordan already went for men-at-arms, so he's gonna have more meat on the field. The archer range is gonna be built with 2 villagers, and you're going to try walling behind, which is fine for the time being, but Jordan is just going to send his archers forward right away. And one of the things that you get from man-at-arms opening is that man-at-arms will help you significantly at getting through walls. So, straight archers, it's going to be tough to get through walls, but when you have men-at-arms supporting it, it's a whole different story, to be honest. Anyways, for now, it looks like Cyclops is going to be fine walling behind this one. Jordan having a little bit of a TC idle time over here, not sure what happened, he's a little bit low on food. But that is probably because he sent out his villagers to grab the hunt. Overall, I like this move, and he is going to be walled on the right side. The left side is still a little bit open, pops out a spearman to deal with that scout, and now brings in the archers. So, archers are coming out now as well for Cyclops, but this is what I said. At this point, Cyclops is getting the first archer out. Jordan already has I think at least 2 archers out, and almost the third one as well. Plus, remember that overall he's gonna have the better eco as well, because he's Vikings. And when you're up against Vikings with Tatars, I would say that you kind of have to be on the aggressive player. Otherwise, the opponent, as Jordan loses that scout, that was a little bit sloppy. And even an archer could go. Now men-at-arms are coming in right now to deal with the archer. Scout loses quite a lot of HP, but it is still alive for Cyclops. So, when you're playing Tatars against Vikings, you have to be the aggressive player, otherwise the Viking player is just going to sit back and boom. With Tatars, you have to be able to use your mobility, especially from early Castle Age on, because Vikings is just a very, very slow but extremely strong and tough to beat Civ. So, if you let the Vikings just sit behind their walls and chill, and not be able to use your mobility with raids, and really just be the proactive player, then the Vikings will just outboom you. That's the thing. That's actually a nice move from Cyclops over there. Tries to get the villager pick, but that scout is damaged enough to prevent him from being able to do that. He's going to try and micro this one in a way that he could pick off the villager, but then he decides that that's not really going to be the case. He might be looking for a weak villager to snipe on one of the farms. There isn't really any for Jordan, to be honest. In fact, if you take a look at Jordan's villagers, basically all of them have almost full HP, so Jordan was able to preserve the HP of his units very, very nicely, and Cyclops is sending the archers forward. This is actually a very, very dangerous move from him, and the reason why is because his archers will not really be able to get into the base of Jordan, but in the meanwhile, Jordan's archers and men-at-arms will have a much, much better chance at getting through these walls. Jordan is grabbing an early archer armor upgrade over here, so he's prepared for long engagements against the archers of his opponent. He already has fletching in. His opponent also is fletching by now, and it looks like Jordan will just try to get through the walls over here. Cyclops so far has been doing a nice job walling behind this one, and both the players will be playing with one-range archers, but remember that this is a wheelbarrow advantage overall for Jordan, even though his TC idle time has been 27 seconds compared to 20 or just 3 seconds, which means that there is a 20 seconds difference, and that means that Jordan basically lost a villager because of that. And that's what you see over here. He didn't lose a single villager to the opponent's army, he lost one villager to the TC idle time. That being said, as I referred to this one earlier, men-at-arms are extremely good at getting through walls, and the problem that Jordan is going to be facing is that he's going to be fighting up against Tatars that do have the hill, and even though Jordan has the archer armor upgrade, the Tatars player here will have the hill, and that should be enough to clean up the archers, so this was a costly fight for Jordan, and his opponent is living a happy life right now. In fact, Cyclops having a pretty decent eco overall, getting a second range up, and there's a chance that Cyclops is going to click up to Castle Age here a little bit earlier as well, so it's hard to say where it slipped for Jordan, to be honest, because he has done everything as he was supposed to. Now Cyclops is idling his TC a lot to be able to click up to Castle Age, and remember that Tatars will have the free tumbling at the beginning of Castle Age, which is going to be a nice low boost to his archers. Jordan tries to poke and probe and hit this wood line, but this is why I said that this wood line is actually very helpful for Cyclops. He's got one safe wood line that cannot easily be denied. With that being said, now Cyclops is waiting for Castle Age. He wants to get a reasonable amount of crossbows on the field and then just strike. Maybe fast ballistics could be something I could justify, because as I said, you don't really want to play you know, the long and boomy game against Vikings, because Vikings eco is going to be better. You will have about a minute advantage going into Castle Age, and that will be a little bit sloppy from Cyclops to move out right now, even though technically if he just camps the hill, it's going to be somewhat impossible for Jordan to engage that, because even though Jordan has the extra armor, now Cyclops got the extra armor as well, and he's going to have the heal bonus, and Tatar heal bonus is absolutely sick, so both players are just chilling over here. I'm not sure if Cyclops knows about that army of archers. He might know about that. I'm not sure if these archers actually attacked this part of the wall. If they did, I think Cyclops might know about that army. And that would mean that he's just waiting for the opportunity to strike at them with the earlier crossbows and tumbling. This is actually the weak spot on this wall, but I think, yeah, Cyclops is just waiting for the opportunity to come. He must be patient because he really needs the heal advantage, otherwise this is gonna be an even trade, and that would be a little bit too greedy from Cyclops. He needs to withdraw. He needs to withdraw to the other hill, loses one archer over here. That was a little bit too premature. Now Jordan wants to engage this one because he knows that his opponent is gonna have the crossbow upgrade faster than he will, but this is exactly what Cyclops is supposed to be doing. Just hold the hill here. The crossbowman upgrade is actually pretty fast, so it's not like Jordan has a lot of time to kill over here, and now Cyclops will start moving down hills because he knows exactly that the crossbowman is going to kick in for him soon. And this is the one where he's just trying to finish off that army. Botkin and crossbow are in, and it seems like he is going to try and intercept that army or just head straight towards the opponent's base, which is the alternative. Fast ballistics will be coming in here from Cyclops at the university. This is also going to act as a secondary layer of wall, and with that TC, that is going to prevent this army of archers from breaking in, allowing Cyclops to launch a counterattack towards potentially Jordan's wood line. He has seen this wood line before. Jordan is getting a university up as well. Archer numbers relatively close. Slight lead over there for Jordan, but as I said, Cyclops does have tumbling, which is a extremely important upgrade right now. Jordan is going to be playing with 1 TC, Cyclops plays with 2, and it would be a little bit of a sloppy move from Cyclops to leave this opening over here, because that would probably leave his gold mine exposed. Is Cyclops going to get killed through the hole that he has made on his own wall? Don't tell me. This will be the throw of the century. He was absolutely alright here, and he just lets his opponent walk into his base. The first villager casualty of the game, and they will just casually run past. He has done so much to re-wall everything in his base, double layer walls to prevent Jordan from running the inside, and then he just leaves an opening like that on his walls, and now he lost 5 vultures against a Civ that already is supposed to have a much better eco, and Jordan's gonna be able to take that vulture down as well if he pays attention, which apparently he does not. Cyclops is not dead yet because he's on 2 TCs and Jordan is still on 1, so technically he can actually come back into this one, but this is one way to throw away a game. Oh, what a move! What a move, that was a full disaster from Cyclops. Deleting your wall just to let the opponent in, man, I have no words. Anyways, Jordan's gonna try to counterattack from the other side. The farming eco of Cyclops is a little bit wacky, and he also has a lot of TC idle time. So now it's 5 villagers difference, plus his opponent also has hand cards. So in reality, we're getting close to about 10 villagers difference over here. Cyclops now getting wheelbarrow for himself. As I said, at least he has 2 TCs, which is something that is pretty much alright. And once he sees these crossbows, I wouldn't mind seeing defensive siege workshop from him. Jordan may actually get a couple of villager picks over here. Nicely takes control over the hill, fires down hills, takes down 1, takes down 2 villagers. Very nice value for Jordan over there. There is the counterattack though from Cyclops, but his opponent is already switching into elite skirms. So let's see, right now, crossbows break into the base once again. I think Cyclops was a little bit too busy, and I don't understand why he didn't go for defensive siege workshop. He can't afford it anymore, but he could have had, and that would have basically made this army, I'm not gonna say useless, but that army probably wouldn't have been able to do much damage when there's defensive siege workshop in here. Another vulture goes down, and Cyclops is getting torn apart by Jordan here. Cyclops was in a perfect position before this whole happened. After that, it was an absolute disaster. So now he's stacking into elite skirm, but as I said, with the Tatars you want to be the player that is the aggressive one. So you really need to be proactive and finish off the Vikings player because before it can get a good boom in. And now Jordan is getting TC number 3 up as well. So Cyclops is 11 villagers and hand card behind. And soon that difference is going to grow even more because Jordan is getting a defensive siege workshop in, which would pretty much make Cyclops unable to push the eco. The villager idle time is double now for Cyclops, and Jordan is doing an excellent job just moving in on the right, moving in on the left. This army control is actually very reminiscent of Doubt's army control. So Doubt also likes to, in fact, Doubt is exceptionally good at this. There's a lot of players that are good at this, but Doubt in particular is actually one of the players that is exceptionally good at poke on the left side, lure the opponent's army that way, and then strike from the other side. And that's exactly what Jordan is doing over here as well. Nice engagement over here as well for Jordan. Cyclops is trying to get a third TC up over here, but that may even go denied. I think it's gonna go up because Jordan is gonna focus down the army here. And in the meanwhile, Jordan is losing quite a lot of crossbows. Villager difference is now 10. And now it is Cyclops getting the elite skirms out. Mangano is going to be coming in here for Jordan. There is still no siege workshop from Cyclops. And look at this. This is a beautiful move from Jordan. Just a couple of archers or crossbows, and it can do so much damage. I also like that he's crawling close to the wood line before actually attacking, so that he's going to be able to maximize the damage output of these archers. And basically there is no reliable wood income here for Cyclops. He's going to be able to clean this one up, but another vulture goes down, and so far Jordan is just tearing apart Cyclops' eco. 11 vultures killed compared to 0. Obviously it all started with this hole and then followed up with this one. But in the meanwhile, while Cyclops is busy cleaning up the mess inside his eco, he's eating some big mangonel shots over here. And Jordan is now at 12 elite skirms, so he should be able to clean this one up over here without any problems. And Cyclops starting to send villagers on stone. Finally a siege workshop comes in here for him. So he's gonna be able to counter mangonel this one, but this might be a little too late. He's sending 10 villagers to stone. And that siege workshop isn't being built even. He didn't actually start building his siege workshop. I assume that he wants a defensive castle, but this might be a little too late. If he had a siege workshop and he was able to make a mangonel right away, that may be possible, but army value is heavily in the favor of Jordan. He's at 17 villagers lead, has all the castle age eco upgrades, whereas his opponent doesn't even have horse color. Oh man, doesn't even have horse color over here. Even if he survives this engagement, the problem is that, as I said, I feel like the Vikings eco is just going to absolutely stomp you. Look at Jordan's food count already. Jordan is actually thinking about going into Imperial now, and that is why the Vikings are just insanely dangerous. Because their early Imperial is going to come so fast, and Cyclops finally getting a chance for a counterattack. There technically is an overchop here, in fact a massive overchop from Jordan, and in fact there is even maybe a hole in between these walls, I don't know, but Cyclops just reveals this army over here, and he probably is focused on microing this one, so he just let this army go, but basically this means that he wasn't able to kill a single Voyager. His opponent killed 5 already, or 15 already from him. And look at this, Jordan once again poking the left side with a couple of crossbows, and behind this one, Jordan is establishing a monster eco. And this is the problem, that while Jordan did an excellent job just controlling multiple groups of armies and preventing the opponent from accessing safe wood, that castle is gonna be tricky. There is 2 mangonels over there to deny that. Yeah, that may be a little too ambitious. There is so many villagers building that I'm tempted to say that it goes up, but we're actually going to get close to the literal definition of Doubt Castle, because you pretty much sacrificed all your eco for that castle. And there is enough skirms in that army to prevent Keshiks from being super useful. And in the meanwhile, Cyclops loses this army. Cyclops actually clicks into Imperial first. His eco is like nowhere close to what he needs. Jordan needs to balance out his eco though, because Jordan is really low on gold and just floating 1,000 wood over here, which he could have sold to go up into Imperial. It looks like Cyclops will try to save the day with Keshiks here, but for that he needs like a constant production. Keshiks are cheap and they train rather fast. The problem is that here Jordan is going to be able to transition into Chieftain's Berserks, and the Berserks will be able to eat the Keshiks anyways, and the speed difference isn't considerable either. So yeah, there is going to be Keshiks over here, but in the meanwhile, look at the eco of Cyclops, or at least you would be trying to look at the eco of Cyclops, but there is basically none. I mean, he's got 72 villagers, 23 of them is mining stone, so you cannot really call 4 Keshiks in a castle and an army, and it doesn't seem like he's gonna have a lot more anytime soon. Jordan is establishing very firm map presence, so he's guarding this relic with a skirm, I like that. Slowly grabbing this relic over here, and he will be getting all the relics out here. It seems like another ambitious castle over here by Cyclops. It seems like the relic positions are now preset, so you have one in each corner basically, and one in the middle of the map. Indeed, this castle is gonna go denied. So the relics are a little bit more predictable. Some people like this change, some people do not. One thing is sure, it makes the game more fair, because the relics are balanced between the 2 players, and sometimes relic can spawn in a very unfair way. So it makes the game balanced, that is 100% sure. The real question is, as Jordan is gonna cancel that castle, drop it over here, and we'll get traps out soon. The real question is whether or not this is actually going to make relic collection less dependent on scouting, because one of the things that was required for relic collection was to scout the map pretty thoroughly, and if you know where the relics are by default, or at least you suspect that they're approximate positions, then you don't need to do that much scouting for relics. So I feel like it kind of lowers the importance of scouting, which is something that many people may dislike. I think it's an interesting question to discuss, but I don't think that's going to have an extremely huge impact on this game and overall on the tournament. So yeah, Keshiks here, but they only have +2 defense, +4 is just coming in, and you're going to have 2 castles over here and 70 eco, and yeah, Cyclops just calls the GG here upon seeing Jordan Imperial. I think at the end of the day, if I just need to say one reason why Cyclops lost this game, is this column. Eco killed, lost. Jordan killed 33 villagers, Cyclops killed 0. And Jordan, as I said, if you're playing against Vikings, you even want to have the upper hand in eco, or at least in the push. Otherwise, the Vikings player is just going to sit back and chill and just outboom you crazily. But until early castle age, Cyclops was completely in this game. But the hole over here pretty much threw the game away for him. Jordan grabs a rather confident game number 1 over here in what was basically a game that was mainly focused on eco raiding, and there wasn't really any major engagements overall. That crosses out the Vikings for Jordan and the Tatars for Cyclops. So Cyclops probably wanted to use Mayans initially on Arabia, but that was sniped away, so he had to change his plans. And his two home maps are Bay and Slopes, right? Yes, it is. So we will be jumping into game number 2 over here, and that is going to be Slopes. So welcome to Slopes over here. We are gonna have Jordan in blue playing as Britons, interestingly. Right side is going to be Cyclops playing as Celts in green. So the thing is that the new Slopes, the meta isn't really developed. The Celtic play is actually something I really like over here. Overall, Strong Civilization has very good Men-at-Arms openings, reasonable with Archer openings as well, but could also play sort of a Huang Rush type strategy in early Castle Age. So it is a fairly versatile civilization for such a map. The problematic part could be that this map is still wide open, and I feel like Scout Civilizations is something I like over here. That being said, Jordan goes for Britons, which is one of the slowest civilizations in this game. This reminds me of Red Bull World of 3, where on the map Haboob, which was very, very open map and everybody played Scouts, it was the Gamer Legion team that started playing with Britons. Wasn't just Jordan, I think Nilly tried that, Doubt also used that, maybe even Viper and Taro. But it was interesting to see that everybody else in this board was using Scout Civilization and Gamer Legion was using Britons over there, and they had some success with it. I think Nilly had some successful games with Britons on Haboob. So we'll see what they have on their mind over here. As I said, because they lowered the amount of fish on these spawns, and now the deer is distributed on between two sides, some people completely ignore these spawns and say, okay, there is too much risk moving out here. I'm just going to sit back at home, chill, and take my berries. Speaking of berries, the berries are very close for Jordan to Cyclops' scout, and Cyclops coming in early to take a look at Jordan's base. Jordan gets the first hit on that scout, as Jordan already brings in the first boar. He went for lumber camp, and he's got 4 on wood over here, so we're not going to have a surprising Britain Scouts play. You could technically play Britain Scouts to surprise your opponent, but I feel like that wouldn't really be a great idea. But you may say, hey, Britain Scouts is completely stupid. If you think about Empire Wars tournaments, oftentimes we have seen some plays like, for example, Ethiopian Scouts for somewhat unpredictable openings. Here, as I said, I'm not necessarily a big fan of a Britain Scout opening, so it's probably going to be straight archers or a drush into archer play. In fact, it's a premium drush from Jordan. So you don't really want to play men-at-arms because the Celtic men-at-arms will always be better, and Jordan still chasing down Cyclops' scout over here. As I said, some people do not think that the risk of moving out here is actually worth it. So, for example, Cyclops is going to take the berries back at home, and we'll soon see what Jordan is up to. Gets the militias out. The premium rush would be very, very legitimate, especially if your opponent goes for an early mill on the outside. In this case, I wonder how much damage the premium rush can do, but the berries could be exposed, the woodline could be exposed. Even though for Cyclops, both of those are actually close to the town center, so I don't think that he would necessarily lose villagers in there. Interesting house location over here, because I'm not sure how Cyclops wants to wall. Maybe he wants to wall in between this woodline over here to protect this gold. That might be a little bit too tricky to do. We'll see if that is going to happen. And Cyclops is pushing deer all the way from this spawn. This is something that I think is going to evolve to be the meta over the course of this tournament, if the map remains unchanged, because it is technically possible to push in the deer, and you would be much less exposed to an early aggressive play towards your villagers on the pond. So I could totally see something like that happening, and it looks like Cyclops is going to be able to spot the militias heading his way, gets Loom immediately, and now tries to go for his own barracks. Now, the question is if that barracks is going to be delayed or not. 2 villagers being sent to go for what is going to be a 21 pop men-at-arms opening. And the volume wasn't done just yet. Cyclops is going to lose the barracks Voyager. Oh, disaster. And all these militias need to do is just deny this barracks. Because they know exactly that you have to send at least 2 or 3 Voyagers to make sure that that barracks goes up if the militias are around. And that pretty much kills the entire man-at-arms opening of Cyclops. And when you're playing Celts, you are counting on that man-at-arms opening. Especially now that the Dark Age movement bonus of Celts have been removed. So it looks like he's going to be able to sneak out the Voyager to build that barracks. But as I said, I feel like Jordan could have just denied that barracks completely, and that would have already been a huge achievement, because without the barracks, Cyclops isn't even able to make archer ranges, so he would have completely rendered a man-at-arms opening impossible, and he would have also pretty much delayed an archer range as well, because as long as the barracks doesn't go up, there is no archer range either, so I feel like Jordan may have gone a little bit too greedy over here. Obviously, Cyclops could have just deleted that barracks and placed it elsewhere, but then you force a barracks deletion at like 40%, which means that Cyclops loses a bunch of wood. So, as I said, I feel like it could have been better for Jordan if he just denies that barracks. That being said, it looks like Cyclops is going to send in his militias, and he will get the man-at-arms upgrade. Jordan sees this. I assume he also knows the man-at-arms will be coming his way, and oh, this is sneaky. Cyclops is actually going to take the food from this pond. This is actually a smart idea. Why is that? Or is it a tower rush? It's a tower rush. Forget what I said. It could have been a fun idea to, you know, think or take away the food from this pond, because the thing is that if Jordan is not going there, if Jordan thinks that Cyclops is on the outside, he's going to look for him over here and here. Why would he actually scout this one very, very frequently? Because what are the chances, or what are the odds of your opponent actually taking food from here? That being said, it's a man-at-arms towers play, not a man-at-arms archers play. In this one, the problem that Cyclops is facing is that Jordan's gonna pull his man-at-arms back, or militias back, and he could actually get man-at-arms for himself. Scout, trying to get a Voyager pick over here. And it looks like Jordan is not upgrading to man-at-arms over here. Jordan loses the scout. Nice move over there from Cyclops. And Jordan's tower may actually go denied as well, although Cyclops is not focusing down this Voyager. That was a little bit sloppy from Cyclops. He needs to focus down these Voyagers, and this scout needs to kill this will. Now the tower goes up, and it looks like the man-at-arms will trade rather evenly against the militias and the Voyagers, and at the end of the day, this is just going to be the 2 infantry groups cancelled. Also, a little bit sloppy from Cyclops that he didn't intercept this Voyager. This was a 13 HP will, and now Jordan pulls the wills, and that tower is going to go down. Cyclops gives up on this one very, very easily, and honestly, I was right. He's gonna take the food from here, but now Jordan knows that the Voyagers are there, so Jordan's gonna know exactly that the Voyagers will be over here, or at least around here, so he's gonna look for them. If this tower didn't go up, or if Cyclops didn't attempt that tower, there could have been a chance that he can sneakily get the food from this spawn. He's not getting it from here, but right now he's without military production building other than the barracks, so no range, and that means that he's not gonna be able to defend against the archers. And in the meanwhile, where is Jordan's archer at? He's got 1 archer on the field that I cannot find. He's chasing the scout, and there is going to be another archer coming in, Cyclops, soon getting his own archer range, I assume. Or is he planning to just go up into Castle Age here? Nope, it's going to be a forward archer range for skirms. The problem with the forward range is that if Jordan sends the archers to the base of Cyclops, then Cyclops is going to have nothing to defend with. That being said, if Cyclops can apply pressure to Jordan's base with his archers and skirms, Jordan may be forced to defend, and the extra food that you're getting from the hunt and the shorefish may actually be able to propel Cyclops' eco to potentially faster Castle Age. A stable, Knights, and then a Huang type strategy could actually be something to consider. Anyways, Jordan probably suspects that his opponent may be on the outside, and even 2 archers can cause a lot of chaos, especially because by the time they arrive, they will have fletching on them. Cyclops is actually moving out to all of these ponds over here, so he really wants to capitalize on the fishing event. It starts to show, look at the food income. But this is the deal with this. I feel like the risk that you're taking moving out here is a bit too much, because as much as Cyclops has gotten an insane eco advantage from all the shorefish, he's going to lose 2 or 3 wheels here. It ends up being 2. And if the archer range was here back at home, this would be no trouble, because the Skerms would be able to defend this one. Cyclops is definitely going to be faster to cast Lage though, so this is starting to look like more and more like a Hoang game, to be honest. No eco, but it's gonna be a cast Lage push, because Cyclops is now down 4 Vultures. Remember that Jordan did lose 2, probably to the men-at-arms and the towers over there, so right now it is still just, it should be a 6 Vulture or a 2 Vultures difference. Now it's free, because the archers pick off Vultures over here as well. But based on just the Vulture kills, this would be a 3 Vulture difference in reality that's 7. Because Cyclops also idled his TC for almost 2 minutes. That being said, as I said, we have seen how successful Hoang can be in many rated games with just no eco, and exactly that's what's gonna happen. He is just going to get scareboarding, get a stable out, and one of the keys in the Hoang rush is that you're just gonna beat your opponent to cast Lage and use the Knights to secure some early ground for yourself, and then go forward Siege Workshop and Mangonels. And as bad as Cyclops' eco is, I think Hoang has proven that you don't really need eco for this type of a strategy, especially once you start killing your opponent. And there's going to be a stable as well for Jordan. I don't think that Jordan knows that his opponent is up just yet. Another nice Voyager kill from Jordan. That's beautiful micro, by the way. Just blocking the Voyager with the archers. Now Jordan killed 8 Voyagers, only lost 2. Cyclops is behind by 14 wheels. That is brutal. He will not really have a lot of eco over here, so it kind of has to be this all in. And I feel like the Voyager difference is big enough for us to say that even though Cyclops is going to beat Jordan into cast Lage, Jordan's eco is going to be good enough to get him up to cast Lage in the very near future. And that means that unless Cyclops is able to do a lot of damage in early cast Lage, it's going to be really questionable if he can finish this game off or not. Especially now that, since Jordan knows that his opponent is up to cast Lage, I think what he should do is start adding Spearmen. He already has 1 Spearman out here, but he needs 2 or 3 more, because just a couple of Spearmen will be so useful at dealing with the early Knights. And that's exactly what you need. Buy yourself some time. Killing 2 Knights or so with the Spearmen buys you about a minute when it comes to getting up to cast Lage. So in the meanwhile, Cyclops still has Voyagers over here, and oh boy, that could be another 4 Voyagers killed. I think this game is going to clearly show why I feel like in the current state of these spawns, these are absolutely useless. Because it is way too risky to move out here. The only time where it would actually make sense for you to move out is in Dark Age. In a Feudal Age, even just a couple of archers will pick your Voyagers up very easily. And for this much food, it's absolutely not worth it. If there was a little bit more shorefish, you could make a case for actually moving out in Dark Age. But now it's a battering ram. But I think if Jordan gets up to casting it, he's only 40 seconds away. Then he's going to be able to go for a defensive Siege Workshop and Monastery and hold this one off. He already made a defensive tower, so he can't make another one unless he mines some stone, which is something that he's doing. But I feel like with all these Voyagers lost, it's soon not going to matter what Cyclops does in the front. And he's also mangoing down his own ram. Oh man, I mean, the previous game was nice from Cyclops. This is a full disaster. This is absolute disaster. I feel like he himself didn't know what he wanted to do. He wanted to go Men-at-Arms Towers, gave up on that immediately, but revealed his Voyagers, and those Voyagers were intercepted later on. Went for the archer range over here, instead of doing it home. If you go for Men-at-Arms Towers, if you fail, just walk back home, I don't know, but he made the archer range over here, which meant that he wasn't able to protect this spawn, for example. Let's say that this wasn't really a clean game from Cyclops, and I might have been too polite with my claim over here, because this was closer to being a full disaster. Jordan is going to win with Britons over here, and Celts are gone for Cyclops. His final home map is going to be Bay, So probably Persians or Berbers versus I think it's likely to be Lithuanians or maybe Japanese. Based on their maps, you have Cross and Hideout. I think Cross is Japanese, or it. Yeah, I think Cross has to be Japanese. Hideout is something where I could actually imagine Teutons being used, and then Lithuanians would be for Bay. Other side, Cross would be Huns, Hideout would be Khmer, so this has to be Persians or Berbers. Anyways, let me jump into the next game over here. And Cyclops, it's his tournament life on the line. So if he loses this one, he's out of the tournament over here. So he seems like he thinks that the color could be the problem. So before that, Jordan was blue and Cyclops was playing in green. And it looks like Cyclops will decide, okay, I need a different color and I'll be playing in red. So this is Bay, and we are going to have Cyclops on the left side playing as Persians indeed. Right side we will have Jordan playing as Japanese. Somewhat surprisingly, I did not necessarily expect this Civ pick here. It is completely viable because the water fights are pretty aggressive, and being able to keep your fishing ships alive longer is actually very, very valuable. So the thing is that Japanese is what I thought for Cross and Lithuanians for this map, but the two civs are pretty much interchangeable. Lithuanians work very, very well as well on Cross, and then you can use Japanese over here for the extra safety of your fishing ships. So, looking at the bases of the players, Cyclops is going to have a rather decent-ish base. He can wall himself up relatively easily, even though this right side is quite open. He's got a back gold, the berries are safe as well, and he's got a woodline at the back, which is also very helpful. Plus, this woodline shelters him from the aggression on the front. In the meanwhile, as I might need to restart Capture Age over here because of these little lag spikes. Let's hope that that goes away. But anyways, Jordan is playing Japanese on the right side. His gold mine is on the front, which is something I massively dislike. This stone is even worse. He could be exposed for potential tower rush, or maybe later on, if we are about to drop castles, this could be a troublesome stone for him. This is a nice gold over here at the back, and also is a woodland at the back. So if these golden stones were elsewhere, like some around over here, I would say this is a perfect map for Jordan. With these, it's not so great. You wall in front like this, and you are still going to be fine though. Now, Jordan is actually sending out a Voyager without Loom, which is a little bit dangerous over here. And in the meanwhile, he's looking for Cyclops' Dark Voyager. That is not coming in just yet, it's on the way right now. Cyclops is going to try and escort that Voyager, and he sees the Scout, lands the first hit on Jordan's Scout. And that also means that Jordan knows that the Scout is over here, so he doesn't have to worry about that right now. And Cyclops is chasing down the Scout, so he knows exactly that he's going to get that dock up no matter what. Faster working Persian docks and TCs will obviously give a nice little advantage over here eco-wise for Cyclops. However, the key thing is that it's going to be very hard to kill Jordan's fishing ships. The only way Jordan loses his fishing eco is if he loses water completely, which may or may not happen. Jordan also lands a hit on Cyclops' Scout over here, so it's only one hit difference now, 39 HP for Jordan's Scout and 42 for Cyclops. And he's gonna get some Voas in here. That was an interesting decision. I feel like he started making the Voas because he knew that if he doesn't start Voling, then the second board is gonna be a little bit early, based on like how much he consumed from the first board. But then he just stopped making those walls. It actually is an interesting sight. Anyways, it is interesting to see that he's walling himself up at the beginning, because oftentimes you see players completely giving up on walling, especially if both the players are on water, because it is going to be a fire galley fight anyways at the beginning, and you only start walling yourself up once you see that your opponent is losing water and he's probably going to transition to land. That being said, it may still be alright walling yourself, at least a little bit, just to make sure that you're not going to die to a sudden man-at-arms play that you may not expect from your opponent. Anyways, Cyclops is missing a little bit of wood because of those walls though, and that's something that is worth considering. That he was a little bit low on wood, and you see that he just queues up the third fishing ship just when Jordan finishes with that. So that hurts a little bit. Obviously, Persian dock works a little bit faster, so this is not really a big deal. As Cyclops is a little bit low on food as well to click up, idles his TC for a couple of moments, and still missing 2 food. And now goes up to feudal, but that's a 16 seconds idle time. And at the end of the day, Jordan is going to click up as well. At the same time, Jordan is having a 1 villager lead though, with only about 13 seconds difference in feudal age times. So this wasn't perfect for Cyclops, but still slightly faster feudal age, and Jordan gets another hit in on that scout, which means that once again Cyclops and Jordan will be on even HP with their scout. Second dock is coming in here for Cyclops. 4 fishing ships for Cyclops right now, same for Jordan. Jordan is also going to drop probably a dock some around over here so that this deep fish is a little bit more efficient. And Cyclops seems to be a little bit low on wood, because that second dock is already supposed to be going up. Oh boy, Cyclops. That's a very, very late second dock, especially if Jordan actually tries to harass that village and delay that. But that dock should be finished by the time that you reach fuel age. Cyclops will have a slightly faster fuel age, and that means that he's going to be able to chase that scout down, or at least damage it quite considerably. So, as you see, Jordan is trying to run away because he knows that he is not so far behind in terms of fuel age timing, and now he can run away and turns back. Only 8 HP left for Jordan. Cyclops is a massive HP lead, and that dock finishes just in time. So fire galleys are popping out from both docks. Over here, double bit axe is also something that Cyclops is able to squeeze in over here, and Jordan instead is actually going for a barracks. Remember, with Japanese you can actually open men-at-arms, and Cyclops, so far he is somewhat prepared for it. He doesn't really have his base fully walled, but honestly I could also imagine him just walling to the dock and then having a demo inside the dock, because that would sink any kind of land aggression. That being said, the reason why he's probably not doing that is because right now he wants to focus on fire galley production and not demo production. He's also gonna need a repair villager, something that Jordan is having around, and an archer range comes in here. So the reason why I play archer range is most likely because you're on wood and gold anyways, so it is relatively easy to mix in a couple of archers. And for now, Cyclops will be on 2 docks as well for Jordan, but that means that Cyclops should have numbers advantage when it comes to ships. Also gets demo out on the field, but he has stopped making his walls, and Jordan is slowly piling up archers, or at least he will be piling up archers, I assume. Behind this one, the ecos are relatively close, so Jordan splits his fire galleys, and Cyclops is waiting for the opportunity with his first demo. Let's see if he can actually get a good connection. Nice splits from Jordan, sinks 1 fire ship from Jordan over here, and the advantage now is his. He's going to try and snipe that fishing ship, but that's a lot of clustered up fire galleys, and that split wasn't perfect from Cyclops over here. Eats a relatively decent demo shot. 2 of his fire galleys are very low HP, but it seems like Jordan isn't going to finish them off. So if Cyclops can repair those, he's gonna be still alright on water. That being said, Cyclops is venturing towards a little bit more exposed waters when it comes to fishing income. In fact, he gets horse colors so that he's gonna be able to start adding farms. And it looks like he's expecting the archer play, because he is getting an archer range up himself. Okay, he scouted that. Now I see it. Loses the scout to the fire ship over here, which is really, really sloppy from him. But he has scouted the archer range. However, Jordan, this is the first archer that he's making. So by the time those archers will be able to do anything, Cyclops is going to have the skirmisher defense. Demo in here trades reasonably well for Jordan over here. Sunk 1 demo and the fire ship with a single demo. Nice splits once again from Jordan. And Cyclops is really struggling getting some good demo connections in. I would say borderline he's taking awful demo hits overall. And remember that now Jordan seems to start taking over in water, and that leaves Cyclops' fishing eco somewhat exposed. Counterattack is still coming in though from Cyclops, trying to go for the sinking of this ship over here, but that's a little bit greedy for Cyclops, to be honest. Two of his ships are kind of low HP, and Jordan is gonna be more than happy to take this fight over here. Let's see if we have a demo coming in from Cyclops. The answer is yes, but not yet. And the one thing that you could do with these archers is try to pick that repair Voyager off. That would be so valuable right now, because that is what is preventing Jordan from finishing off these low HP fire galleys. He even tries to dive in on one of these weaker ones, and as I said, you just need one. Well, you need the two archers to actually kill that Voyager. Nice demo hit finally from Cyclops. So fire guy numbers are still relatively close. Archer's trying to get in here, and Jordan once again is going to deny that wood line. Cyclops was actually going for archers, which is surprising, because if your opponent is making archers, why are you making archers yourself? Why not just go 2 or 3 skirms, and that's going to protect your base for now. And Jordan's gonna be able to deny that wood line, because the thing is that your own archers will trade evenly against Jordan's archers. That's why skirms would have been much more reasonable. Jordan also has fletching. That's not something that Cyclops has currently. And it seems like Cyclops is slowly getting pushed back on water as well. Right now it is 3 fire galleys against 2. He could use that Voyager to repair that fire galley and it will win that fight for him. Another fire galley comes out here, but this dock has been idle for quite a while for Cyclops. And Jordan, he also has 1 idle dock right now. Fire galley sinks and a new one pops out, but slowly Jordan is taking over on water. Although, truth being told, as this Voyager is almost getting killed here. Yeah, Jordan's trying to kill the repair Voyager, or at least he tried, but that didn't really work out. Cyclops, however, stops making ships, so apparently he's giving up on water. Not sure if this is just a result of him getting pushed on land and thinking that, okay, I need to focus on land now, or what, but he definitely stopped making ships and now restarting it. But in the meanwhile, Jordan is going up to Castle Age over here. Cyclops isn't far away himself, but a little low on gold. One thing I want to emphasize, that Japanese fishing ships also work faster, so 4 versus 4 fishing ships mean that Jordan had a slightly better food eco coming from the fish. And currently the archers are bashing their way through here. Cyclops is going to launch a counterattack. Jordan has 1 skirmisher to defend. Cyclops could actually try fighting that. No longer he will be able to, though, because Jordan is going for the skirm defense. On the water, it seems like Cyclops is really trying to finish off the fishing eco of Jordan, and that's a nice move, saving that 4 HP fire galley over there that actually starts attacking once again. If Jordan turns his fire galley, he should be able to finish this one off. Currently, it seems like Cyclops... There is action opening here. If Cyclops loses a game to a hole that he made on his wall once again, I'm going to scream. Game number 1, he deletes the wall to move out with his archers. Doesn't re-wall it, archers from Jordan move in, Cyclops loses 10 villagers. Game number 3, Cyclops deletes the wall so that his archers can move out, doesn't re-wall it, archers get into his base. Genius, I have to say. I think after this series, if he rewatches the recorded games, he's going to forever learn that if you delete your wall, just rebuild it or instead place a gate or what. Now, he didn't lose a single Voyager over here. In fact, he's got a 4-1 KD because he cleaned up the fishing eco of his opponent. He's making a very inefficient fish trap over here, I have to say. But now Jordan is up to Castle Age, and that means he's gonna have crossbows. And crossbows, you can micro them a little bit easier against skirms because of the extra range that you're getting from a botkin and obviously crossbowmen. Now it looks like Jordan is going to close the distance, trying to use the fact that the skirms do have a minimum range, and that means that the skirms will somewhat struggle at cleaning the crossbows. Look at how annoying Jordan is being over here. Cyclops had 2 minutes TC time. Soon he's gonna be in Castle Age and he wants to go for Persian Knights, but look at Jordan, the micro nerd. He just massively out-microed those skirms over there. He killed quite a lot overall, and he could just run around and keep hitting villagers. And in the meanwhile, there's already new crossbows coming in here, and palisade wall foundations are much weaker than actual palisade walls, so the crossbows could get through them relatively easily. That being said, Persian Knights, as I said, deal extra damage against archers and crossbows, so that could be something worth considering. However, just like we have seen in game number 1, Jordan's gonna be everywhere with his army, and these crossbows are still inside here. Not a lot of HP, but it doesn't matter right now, because what they're doing is denying actual resource income, whereas Jordan's eco is pretty much untouched. And Since Cyclops doesn't have +2 defense, about 10 crossbows here, even though those knights deal more damage against archers, is still going to be viable for Jordan, who is having a 4 Voyagers now, or 4 Voyagers lead now, and he also has Heavy Plow and Boso, plus Wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow just came in for Cyclops as well. So, at the end of the day, Jordan has a pretty considerable eco lead. Starts sending Voyagers on stone. Also worth noting that Jordan is going to be 3 Voyagers on stone and 3 TCs. Anyways, that knight only has +1 defense, and it looks like Cyclops wants to corner that army over there. But, as I said, +1 defense, even with the extra attack, I think this is going to be a cleanup from Cyclops. However, it's going to be an expensive cleanup, so he's going to lose a couple of knights here. You see that he killed 1 crossbow so far. Now the crossbows start going down in quite rapid succession. But Jordan behind this one is having a big boom. So 6 Voyagers lead now. Obviously, Persian TCs may help you catch up. But now Jordan is switching into Japanese pikemen, and we have seen that Japanese pikemen are no joke. So Japanese pikemen can be extremely devastating against these knights over here, especially considering that these knights are lacking the blacksmith upgrades with the exception of the +1 defense. Anyways, there's a demo over here from Cyclops, so he might actually try sinking an army over here if they actually walk on the shallows. And Jordan getting Spearman out right now, no upgrades on those guys whatsoever. Gets Scale Mail first. I think at this point you're probably going for indeed Spearman and Blacksmith upgrades instead of actually getting the Pikeman upgrade in first. Because you need a couple of numbers anyways on land, so it's probably better indeed to grab the Blacksmith upgrades and mass Spearman, and then whenever you have a reasonable amount of Spearmen, so 5, 6, 7, 8, you can actually squeeze in Pikeman upgrade on one of the barracks. Anyways, Jordan is right now a little bit low on food, but that is because he's using free TCs for booming. And as I said, 3 Voyagers on stone will allow him to drop a cast in the foreseeable future, as once again Jordan's gonna move in to get some Voyager kills. Remember, Cyclops is only one reasonable wood line right now. The other one is being denied by a single skirmisher, and now crossbows will move in. Villagers may actually get intercepted, as there's the defensive siege workshop from Cyclops. And even though Cyclops won the water, now Jordan moves in, picks off 2 fishing ships over here, even sinks the fish trap. That was a very nicely done move. Jordan! I think Jordan fans had their heart stop in this very moment. He was relatively close to losing an entire army to a demo raft over there. Anyways, there is still Spearman over here from Jordan. Now gets a monastery in. Voyager lead now, however, is 15. And even though his opponent is now on 3 TCs as well, with Persian TCs that work faster, it looks like Cyclops has quite a lot of TC idle time overall. So it's 718 versus 144. That's a lot of TC idle time. And also, I think that is going to be a cleanup as well. It's 23 army, 22 against 8. And as I said, most importantly, where is Cyclops going to get wood from? He's running out of this wood line over here, and I wonder if Jordan knows that. Does he know that? He knows it. Look at this. This is Jordan scouting. He knows exactly that his opponent is going to start running out of wood if this wood line keeps getting denied. That is a very nice map awareness from Jordan. He knows exactly that his opponent is going to consume that wood line. That being said, Jordan prioritizes handcart over the pikeman upgrade, which is a little bit surprising to me. But there isn't really a lot of knights on the field, so you could make a case for 1 or 2 monks to make up for a difference. Jordan just running around, grabbing outposts everywhere for some added vision. Look at this. This is actually very nice vision from Jordan. And basically limits the amount of damage the knights can do that is caused by their mobility, sort of. So even though the knights will have more mobility, Jordan is always going to have time to react because he's going to have a very good vision across the map. Plus, Jordan can also start picking up relics over here. Anyways, for now, Cyclops is holding, but it is going to be more and more problematic for him to sustain this one. So Jordan is having the upper hand in terms of economy. Jordan is having the upper hand in terms of unit composition currently, I would say. And Jordan, I think he might be waiting for the stone to pile up for a castle, because now he's 10 on stone, and that for me screams that he wants to get a castle up. The knights over here are still missing +2 defense, so these crossbows, if you actually micro them well, they will be able to take a reasonable engagement, even though it's somewhat sloppy from Jordan that we still don't see any pikemen on the field, just a couple of spearmen, and just a couple pikemen escorting these crossbows would have been extremely helpful. That being said, it was a nice use of that knight from Jordan picking off a mangonel, and there is the castle coming up from Jordan. Has a couple of spearmen and the crossbows in the middle. There is no additional scorpions or mangonels coming in here from Cyclops, so he's gonna have no means of dealing with this army over here. That being said, Jordan needs to pull that army up a little bit more, otherwise this may turn into a doubt castle. At this point, Cyclops is getting +2 defense, which is going to be very, very crucial pretty soon. Jordan's eco isn't perfectly balanced, but now he's getting a decent amount of pikemen on the field. These are Japanese pikemen, so they deal a lot more damage over time because of the faster rate of attack. And I think that this fight is very, very good for Jordan here, as Cyclops indeed is just calling the GG. He knows exactly that he's got no means of stopping the pikemen, and that castle is probably gonna go up, and that means that Cyclops is gonna be unable to move out here very, very easily. So Jordan takes a rather convincing 3-0 win over here over Cyclops. I think the strongest game for Cyclops was game number 1, but one huge mistake pretty much killed him over there. Game number 2 was sort of a disaster, and so was game number 3. As I said, I think that if Cyclops wanted to win a game, or potentially more, then he needs to win on his own home maps, which is something that he wasn't really able to do. With that, Jordan gets into the next round of the Hidden Cup qualifiers, keeping his dream alive to be one of the 16 players to play in the main event of Hidden Cup 4. Thanks you. It's actually just thank you for watching this qualifiers from Hidden Cup 4, and make sure to check out my YouTube channel for the additional qualifiers. Have a nice day.